So I'll give you the opportunity. So again, your perspective of the book. Thank you, sir.
Well, good evening, everyone. I guess at this juncture, my job has been made very easy. 3 minutes is a very short time, and given the lengthy reviews that have taken place already, it will be very easy for me to just say, I agree wholeheartedly, and then drop the microphone and then we'll have to play. But I will say something new. Reading this book, the first thing that impressed me is, by his own confession, Amakri said this is the first book he has ever written. Chief Amakri, I would like to commend your writing, and I would like to tell you, please continue to write. The world needs to hear what you have to say, because your writing style is intense and is very interesting. In offering a response to what Harari has to say on the topic, I think it's very important, because as a lawyer we're always told that we should beware the danger of, or Chimamanda said it as well, we should beware the danger of a single-sided story. We should always hear the other side. So if you have read Harari's book, Amakri's book now offers you the other side of the story. And for me, it's also very interesting. When as lawyers, we talk about what we call the weight of evidence. Who would you rather believe? A historian telling you about the capabilities and the possibilities of science, or a man who works every day in technology, telling you about the impact and the beauty and the power of God in our lives? So for me, I take Amakri's side. His evidence offers more weight on the subject. And I think my final remark will be simply that it's easy for scientists and those caught up in technology to try to assume godlike tendencies, trying to imagine that because of science and because of data, that our faith in God can be whittled down. But all I will say to you is, there is no greater conviction of the existence of God than when you have had your personal encounter with God. And after you have had your personal encounter with God, like I have, nobody will tell you different about the existence of God. All in all, as everyone has said today, this book makes for interesting reading, and it is highly recommended, and I urge everyone, if you weren't already planning to get a copy, get a copy. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ross. Again, ensure you get a copy. You did a bit of review, but talk to me. What concepts in that writing stood out for you in your book? Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. This book interests me a lot in the sense that Amakri made reading easy for anybody who doesn't even like reading. So if you get to this book and want to read, you won't find any difficulty in reading it. And in doing that, if you go to, I think, the chapter 7 or so, is a chapter I find very interesting that talked about Homo sapiens and, of course, the upgrading that we've taught this evening. In that just one chapter, if you get to read it, it brings together all the happenings, all the technologies we're talking about, all the concerns and all the fears, and things we need to watch out for. Like the Bible says, we should watch and pray. Now, reading that chapter is going to enlighten you enough to be able to know what to watch out for and then how to pray, because a lot is on the offering. So that particular chapter, as it deals with all the technology trends, all the attempts at integrating technology with human beings, and how they want to connect our brains with databases, is an interesting conversation put together in just one chapter that I will encourage us in reading all the book, all the part of the book. Chapter 7 will be a chapter to take note of. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Finally, I'm going to ask Mr. Kenneth Okafor. You know, Mr. Kenneth Okafor, I listen to you. You are a writer yourself, and you know the discipline goes into writing. the diligence, particularly for a book like this. Oftentimes it's difficult for writers to refer another book, except those who understand the diligence and who understood the energy. Would you be willing to recommend this book, even as a writer yourself, to other writers, other authors, or other platforms? Yes, sir.
First of all, I want to say that I don't read any and anything. No, I don't. But I read a macro. One of the first things that I have taken away from this book is that he writes, just as one of my fellow panelists has said, he makes himself accessible. He splits the book into 3 parts, and then he now takes thematic issues and deals with it. The first part is the partnership that God offers to man. And the second part, shows how man was unfaithful and broke, what should have been actually a very powerful partnership. And then he goes on to, in the third part, to defend, the fact that God didn't throw up his arms and hands and say, I'm helpless. And he actually anticipated what would happen. Now, why as an author I'm particularly excited is this, and I had said it before. You can see his research come through. Why are we harping on the research? It's not a book based on fluff. Now, even if you didn't know what Harari said at all, even if you didn't read Harari, and I pray you don't, you can stand on the weight of the evidence that we present to defend an argument on any note. Now he brings technology to the point of showing that he as a technologist he's not overwhelmed. Now that is he like busy being impressed that he doesn't know that technology has its limits, and he brings it out very powerfully in chapter 11. So I'm telling you that I wish he wouldn't say that chapter 1 or 2 is his favorite chapter, because the best argument he presents, he talks about freedom of will, and he brings out that area. Chapter 9 from 7 to 9 brings out something that a lot of people don't know, that even within the church they are subsumed into it. Let me explain very well. Did you know that it's very human to absolve yourself of blame? That's what Eve did and got her husband into trouble. You say, who told you to eat this fruit? Immediately he said it's the serpent. Now God goes to the husband and asks, the husband says it's the wife. Whenever shows us that it's a very human tendency. People want to offshore their responsibilities. So, in the final take, what I will recommend this to other authors is that his writing style makes him accessible, his research makes him credible. Then when you know that this is a child of God who has written this, you will see that his testimony comes out in the world.
Fantastic. I love to listen to you, Mr. Okafor. Thank you so much. Please let's put a hands together for Mr. Okafor and all those meetings. I must thank the estate gentlemen. Thank you so very much, Dr. Ross and Mr. Okafor. Thank you so much. And now to proceed. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Please let's appreciate them. Let's put a hands together for them. Thank you.